Hey guys, Super Sweet here. Welcome to my Elder Scrolls Online settings guide. As I've been playing Ezra for a while now, doing various types of content, I feel a bit more familiar with the settings and thought I would make a video over what I find to be the most useful. So first, we'll look over the video tab. I like to set the display mode to windowed full screen, as this allows me to easily tab out of the game to check something and then quickly tabbing back in. As for the graphics quality, I would suggest that you try different presets and modify the settings based on them. This will vary a lot based on hardware and what kind of content you might be doing. One thing I do like to turn off for trials and the like is show additional ally effects. I actually had a friend help me out here by doing a comparison of what it looks like with and without the ally effects. The difference between having it on or off isn't huge, but here in the side-by-side comparison, you can see that my friend is using the Destruction Staff Ultimate. Without ally effects, we see that the cloud and flames in the sky and some brightness, and when we have ally effects turned on, you can see some additional circles, some flames, and a bit of smoke. For dungeons, it doesn't really make much of a difference, but it can be really helpful in trials where you have 12 players all casting different abilities. Next, we're skipping the audio tab and going to the gameplay settings. Under the section titled Combat, you'll find Custom Colors, which is one of the most useful settings to tweak in my opinion. Here, I recommend turning up the brightness for both friendly and enemies to 50. You can click the test buttons here to preview what this change will look like. I also like to change the enemy color from the default red to a more pinkish color. This will help things stand out a bit more from fire effects from enemies and allies, for example. Next up is the double tap to dodge. I still use this feature as I've not decided on a key to use instead of double tapping. Typically your dodging would be much more reliable if you bind dodging to a different key, as the double tap sometimes doesn't work. I also like to turn on prevent attacking innocents, so you don't accidentally light attack a guard in a city, for example. Here I try to do a light attack, but as you can see in the top right corner, this setting prevents me from performing the actual attack. Next, we have quick cast ground abilities. This was essential for me as a healer to just speed up my casting and rotation, but I think anyone who needs to place any kind of AoE will find it useful. It takes some getting used to with the aiming and clicking instead of click, aim, click, but it's definitely much faster and better. I also like to have auto loot enabled, as I tend to pick up everything I find to later sell or destroy anything I don't need. If you're constantly filling your bags, you may want to disable this setting and only pick up the things that you want to use. I also like to prevent stealing placed items, as this can be annoying if it's not something you want to be doing. Also, if you want to disable tutorials, you'll find them at the bottom of the gameplay settings. Next up, we have the camera settings. I don't play first person, so I'll skip those. For third person, I like to maximize my field of view. I typically play healer, so I like to have my vertical offset as high as possible. If you're a DPS or tank, this might not be something you prefer. Finally, I like to center the horizontal position. It's more of a personal preference maybe, but I don't like having the reticle off to the side. Next, we're taking a look at the interface settings. Here, there's not much that I like to change from the default. At the very bottom, there are a few settings under performance that I like to turn on to show what my frames per second are and what the ping to the server currently is. Under the nameplate setting, I prefer showing nameplates, as I'm typically doing callouts and trials. This is more of a personal preference, but it's good to know that they're there. If you have nameplates on, you may see some players that have their guild listed under their name. If you would like to have this as well, simply buy a guild tabard from your guild's trader, either by going to the guild trader or finding the nearest banker and opening the guild store. This will then show your guild's name under your name, as you can see here. Under the social settings tab, you can tweak settings like chat color, but I prefer to keep it default. Under combat settings, I like to set my ability bar to always show, so that it's always at the bottom of the screen. As you can see here, my abilities are shown at the bottom. If I'm not using any add-ons, I also like to turn on the ability bar timers and the back row timers so that I know when to cast my abilities again. I also like to show my attribute bars, which is like the health, your magicka, and stamina. You can also set to show your resource numbers. You can select numbers, percent, or both. I prefer to only have percent. And finally, I like to show my ultimate number so that I know when my ultimate ability is ready. So here you can see I now have the timers on my bars, all my resource numbers are showing, and my ultimate number is showing here at the bottom. Next, we're looking under the encounter log, and here you have a setting called appear anonymously. This is basically when people are using the encounter log, you may or may not want to show up with your character name there. If you have this set to on, it will show as anonymous. If you have it off, your character name will show. Next, we have combat text. I prefer to show the combat text so I can see when I'm doing damage or when a target is immune, for example. If I don't have any add-ons, I also like to show my buffs and debuffs so that I know what I'm affected by. So you can now see a new row of icons above my health bar there. These are my current buffs and debuffs that I have. That should cover all the base game settings that I think are important. I hope that you found this useful, and please do write in the comments if you have any questions or if I missed something. Don't forget to like and subscribe to help me know if I should make more content like this guide.